Saltburn is a very strange film. It seems to have all the pieces of a modern classic. 4:3 aspect ratio, beautiful cinematography, good soundtrack, themes of class and race, and with some great acting performances. And for some, it is a modern classic. But for others, it's quite the opposite. Funnily enough, the audience is teased with this conundrum in the first 5 minutes, as the main character Oliver lectures another character for being lazy and picking the style of his essay rather than the substance. It describes the film pretty aptly, style over substance. The film very much leans into aesthetics, and the irony of it taking place in 2006 is illuminated by the fact that the entire film feels like it belongs on Tumblr. Which is why I was so surprised not to enjoy it, because I usually love that kind of stuff. It fits into the whole dark academia, old money aesthetic, yet it lacks the substance of other media that delve into that topic. It is similar to Donna Tartt's The Secret History, or Bernardo Bertolucci's The Dreamers. It is shocking, vile, and very pretty. But it feels more like someone writing a fan fiction, rather than anything else. The director doesn't really have a voice, and it just comes across as if she's trying to be deep and edgy, because there isn't really anything to chew on after leaving the cinema. If we were to take it as a simple, fun, erotic thriller, that would be perfectly fine. But the way it presents itself contradicts that. It seems to want to be taken seriously. It seems to want to be a classic, but its cheap shocks and thrills do nothing other than ask to be posted onto Pinterest. There are 3 shocking and gross scenes that everyone has been talking about, and I'm going to say the same thing that a lot of others have said about them. There's no build-up to them, they don't fit in, and the film seems to forget that they happened right after they happened. It is shock value for the sake of shock value. The film also seems to accidentally present itself as an eat-the-rich film when it is nothing of the sort. In fact, it's quite the opposite considering the director's background and, well, how many have interpreted the ending of the film. I will once again compare it to The Dreamers, a film also about sex, youth, perversion, and class, and I think the director, speaking of his own film, describes the problem with Saltburn. He says, "For me, it is very difficult to succeed in mixing together the idea of beauty that I have as a moral fact and a reduction of reality in political terms, exactly because I think they are 2 irreconcilable things." Apparently she wasn't really attempting to say anything at all, other than about love.
We wanted to make something that was baroque and outlandish and over the top and camp and beautiful and tragic and all of the things that falling in love is, really.
She just teases the viewer with all of these ideas and never brings them to any kind of conclusion. It is lazy. I don't really know how I'm supposed to interpret the meaning of the film. What the film presents and what Fennell says it's about seem to contradict one another. Perhaps her intentions were not conveyed very well onto the screen. The Guardian asks, is it genius or empty? Titillating or baiting? Edgy or dumb? And the Guardian seems to think that it is the latter. And I think that this is the question we should all be asking about this film. Now, it was redeemable, to a point. The first half of it I actually really enjoyed. I was having a great time. Now it slowly starts to reveal this twist, and as soon as the first piece of it was laid down, I began to lose interest. It's part of this greater issue with the film about wanting to shock people, and the things that happen in the film don't seem to have any other reason for happening. So when the twist was actually revealed, it didn't shock me. The ending left me feeling empty, in the worst possible way. It's hard to remember anything other than those shocking moments, the nice cinematography, and the great performances from all the cast. Now, I didn't hate it. The only reason I'm being so harsh is because it had a lot of potential actually to be really great. It leaves me with a kind of pit in my stomach. To me at least, it seems like a warning for the future. Something that we might be seeing more often. A new kind of art house film. One that is shallow in meaning, but dressed up in fancy clothes so as to disguise its emptiness. And as 2023 has shown us, with superhero films apparently starting to die out, mid-budget films starting to rear themselves, I think we'll be seeing a lot more of this in the future. Now, that's to say that there is nothing wrong with enjoying films like this. It's just personal preference at the end of the day. But for me at least, this is disappointing.